let's talk about my latest knitting project, y'all. Rochelle here, and I'm back to share some yarn goodness with you all today. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about a knitted tee. It is the Rosemary tee designed by Ashley Lillis. Yes, rhymes with Willis. So Lillis, Ashley Lillis. I had been saying that name wrong all this time, and I finally just asked her. I was like, girl, how do you say your name? And she corrected me, and I was like, oh my gosh. Been saying it wrong this whole time. But I also have a name that people like. Of course, my name is Rochelle, but I get called Michelle. I get called like Rochelle. I just answer to it. But anyway, so this pattern is free on her blog, or you can get a paid PDF and you don't have to worry about the ads and all of that stuff. So this pattern calls for Aran weight yarn, or you can hold 2 strands of DK weight yarn together to make that same texture. And so I did 1 strand of Aran weight yarn. And so the yarn that I used is Drops Big Merino, and it is a superwash treated extra fine merino wool, 100%. And let's see here, each little ball is 50 grams or 1.8 ounces. And it is 75 meters or 82 yards per ball. And let's see, the colorway, the number is 14, and that is forest green. Of course, the color is not written on here, but it's number 14, and that is forest green according to the website. And so, yeah. It's a super, super soft, super squishy yarn. But this yarn is splitty, y'all. This yarn is super splitty, and it pills like no other. Another thing is too, it's super tightly spun. So when you're doing the knit stitch, which has like a V, one of the legs of the V is a lot tighter than the other. So yeah, there's that. I have used this yarn before to make a cardigan, and I didn't like it. I'm actually thinking about frogging that cardigan and just making another one of these t-shirts. I think it'll do better. But even looking at it now, it is pilling like crazy, and I've never worn it. I've never, other than like I tried it on once after blocking it, and it is pilling like crazy. But yeah, so this is the yarn, and y'all, I give this yarn a 3 out of 5. Okay, that's the best I can do. Yeah, the color ranges are great. I've used drop merino yarn a lot, and yeah, I'm not a fan of this particular yarn, but it is super soft. It is super squishy, and it comes, like I said, it comes in a lot of great colors. So, you might like it. It might not bother you at all. But I do have a gleaner and or a depeeler, and it does the trick, and it gets all those little peels off. So I'll probably have to be doing that from time to time. But yeah, just like wearing it as a cardigan for, let's see, I've probably had that cardigan almost a year now, the other project I made with this type of yarn, and just as a cardigan, like rubbing together and stuff like that. Yeah, it didn't hold its shape very well. So what I did learn is that this right here holds its shape really well. And I had to take a few steps to do that, and I'll get to that when I talk about blocking. But yeah, so that's it. The bust circumference for this pattern ranges between a 37.5 to a 56-inch bust, and that is 95 to 142 centimeters. And so keep in mind that is 6 to 8 inches of positive ease, and you just want to make sure when you look at the pattern that you're looking at the finished bust, and that's the one that's going to include the recommended ease. And so that's 15 to 20.5 centimeters. One day I'm going to learn how to convert centimeters all on my own. But yeah, so I knit the size 7, which has a finished bust of 53.5 inches. And so that's with my ease. I decided to go with around a 3.5 inch ease. I didn't want the full 6 to 8 inches, so that's why I went with that size. And for reference, I have a 50-inch bust circumference. And so, as I mentioned, I didn't want all of that positive ease, so it worked out really well. And that's something you want to think about. Of course, looking at the bust circumference range is very important. But also thinking about the ease and how you want it to fit and all of that stuff is important as well. Okay, so let's talk a little bit further about this yarn and the project and all of that wonderfulness. So I ended up using 656 yards of Aran weight yarn, and that was held single. And if I had have used 2 strands of the DK, the yardage would have been approximately double. So for my size, the pattern recommendation is 1,446 yards. However, that yardage that's listed in the pattern, so if you look at the Ravelry page or anything like that, and you look at the yarn that you need, the yarn that's listed is for 2 strands of DK weight yarn. So don't let that fool you. If you're going to hold the yarn single with an Aran weight yarn, of course it's going to be about half the amount of yarn you'll need for holding 2 strands of DK together. So just keep that in mind. And also, let's talk about the knitting needle sizes. So the stockinette portion is knit with a US 11, which is a 8mm knitting needle. And the ribbing is knit with a US 10.5, which is a 6.5mm. So I used 2 different ones. I did do a gauge swatch, and I did hit the recommended knitting needle size. And so I wasn't quite sure how I was going to block this t-shirt, because typically the way that I handle my swatch is the same way that I am going to block the finished garment. But with this one being a heavier weight yarn, I wasn't sure if I was going to steam block it or wet block it. I really wasn't sure. So what I did with the swatch is that I steam blocked the swatch. And like I said, I did get gauged, so I was really happy about that. Okay, so as I mentioned, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to block this t-shirt. So I had originally steam blocked the swatch because of, how large of a gauge it was, but I took a chance and I decided to wet block it. Okay, let's talk about it. So I was a little concerned about wet blocking because I did not want it to stretch out a whole lot. And I knew with the Aran weight yarn, it was going to have quite a lot of weight with it. And so I did it anyway. I soaked it in water. I towel dried it. And when I lifted that shirt off the towel, y'all, that shirt was so stretched out. Now, granted, it was wet, but I was looking at the shirt like, oh my gosh, this is a dress. Like, this is crazy. And I just went into panic mode and I threw it in the dryer, because it is superwash treated wool. So you can throw it in the dryer. You have to be careful with it, but you can. And I didn't even take any footage of how that t-shirt looked at the time, because it was so stretched out and I was panicking, and I just had to throw that thing in the dryer right away. So that's what I did. I put it in the dryer and I put it on, I believe it was tumble dry, but I would check it every 5 minutes. And I don't know, maybe after about 20 minutes or so, it was dry. And y'all, I was so happy because it returned back to its normal shape and size. Whew. I was panicking. And so, yes, I'm so happy with it. And it really made me think about the cardigan that I had made, because I had made a cardigan using this yarn in lavender. And thinking about that cardigan now, I still feel like I'm going to rip it out. But I'm wondering if I had put that cardigan in the dryer, would it have retained its shape a little bit better? Yeah, something to think about. But anyway, that's what I did. Crisis avoided. The shirt ended up coming out really well, but I was so scared at first. Like, block at your own risk, okay? And so that's what I did. And it was scary because I was like, oh gosh, I thought I had ruined it, but it snapped back. It snapped back just fine, and yay. Okay. So I did change a few things, not much because the pattern is perfect. But I know with me, when it comes to binding off, sometimes my bind offs can be a little bit tight. And so instead of binding off with the US 11, I bound off in pattern with a US 13, which is, let's see, a US 13. No, scratch that. Okay, so the ribbing called for the 10.5, and I ended up binding off with a US 11. So I went up a knitting needle size to bind off in pattern, and it turned out really well. I really like it. I will say, when I make this pattern again, I am going to bind off with a Jenny surprisingly stretchy bind off. Yeah, I want to try that because I have plenty of yarn to do it. So want to do that. And those were the only changes that I made, was just the bind off knitting needle size. That was it. I mean, the pattern is perfect. So another thing about this pattern that, in my opinion, sets it apart is that it has an extremely deep raglan. So the raglan is long, super long. And the thing about the raglan is it kind of gives me like bat wing arms a little bit, but I don't mind it. Like, it's not extreme, but just a little bit. And I don't know, it's fun. I've knit a ton of t-shirts or just tops, and this one has a very unique construction, and I like it. It sets it apart from other raglan style tees that I've made. And so I really like it. And the pattern was so enjoyable to knit. It was just like, it was hard for me to put it down. I mean, if you all have been around long enough, you know that I've test knit for Ashley. I've made a ton of her patterns, and I'll talk a little bit about her later, but really, really nice pattern. And I just absolutely love how it fits. Let's talk a little bit about the designer. So as I mentioned before, the designer is Ashley Lillis. She can be found on Instagram, Ravelry, and YouTube. She has a lot of great patterns in her Ravelry, and she has a lot of wonderful tutorials on YouTube. And so whether you're somebody who's a beginner, or maybe you've been knitting for a while, or maybe you're thinking about getting into knitting, perhaps maybe you crochet and you're thinking about getting into knitting, I would really recommend her videos. Of course, she never knows when I'm making these videos. It's just like, surprise. But yeah, I would definitely recommend her. She's definitely one of my favorite knitwear designers because, regardless of where you are in your knitting journey, I feel like she has a pattern for everybody. So yeah, go check her out. And of course, I will leave a link to, I'll just leave a link to her channel below. And you should be able to find her there. And so I'll leave all of her information in the description box below. Okay, y'all. I have some new yarn. I'm so excited. Okay, so let's talk about this new yarn that I have, y'all. Okay, let's see. We'll talk about this one first. Okay, so this is new yarn from Wool Warehouse. This is Yarnsmith's Merino DK. So this line of yarn isn't new, but this is their first time introducing this in DK. It was available in fingering weight, I do believe, but now it is available in DK. It feels amazing. Oh my gosh. And just looking at the twist, I don't think I'm going to have that problem of like the V-stitch looking differently on each leg. I'm hoping I don't. But anyway, each ball is 50 grams or 1.75 ounces. 110 meters or 120 yards, and it is 100% merino wool. And this is in shade 3324, and the colorway name is called Just Purple, and that's perfect for me. I love it. Oh gosh, I wish you all could squish this yarn. It feels amazing. And usually, like whenever I buy yarn, I always have a pattern in mind. But my plan with this yarn is I'm going to wait until spring 2025 to see what new awesome DK weight t-shirt or cardigan or whatever comes out. I bought enough of the yarn to make, I think I bought at least 1,300 yards of this. I bought like a 10 pack. So no, it was 1,200 yards. And so I'm waiting for a really cool design to come out in 2025. And when I find one that I like, I am going to make something with this yarn. And so, yay, I am quite excited about this yarn. Yeah, it's wonderful. So squishy. It's just, okay. Yarn gets me excited. All right. And then the next yarn that I bought is Bamboo Pop. And this is made by Universal Yarn. And so it is 50% cotton and 50% bamboo. 100 grams per ball or 3.5 ounces. Each ball is 266 meters or 292 yards. And it is a number 3 yarn. It looks more like a light DK to me, but it is classified as a number 3 light yarn. And the color number is 123, and the color is fuchsia, and it's beautiful. Not sure if you all can see it, but it is a beautiful fuchsia color, but it does have like, I don't know how to describe it. It has like a darker pinkish purple yarn that's woven around it. So it looks more variegated than anything. But it is a beautiful yarn. And it feels really good. I don't knit or crochet with cotton very often because I find that it doesn't have the stretch that I wanted like wool does. But I've been hearing a lot of people talk about how great cotton yarn, bamboo yarn, and linen yarn feels, especially when it comes to like warmer weather garments. And I just want to knit and crochet all the t-shirts. So I feel like this is going to be great for the spring. So I do have a pattern in mind for this one. And it is the Perfect Knit t-shirt. And it is designed by Caitlin Barthol. And so this t-shirt comes in 9 sizes, y'all. 9 sizes. And that bust circumference ranges between a 32-inch bust to a 64-inch bust. And in centimeters, that is 81 to 162.6. So that is wonderful. And also, the t-shirt is designed to be worn with between 0 to 4 inches of positive ease. So I like that. And of course, that's the positive ease that's measured at the bust. So yay, check that pattern out. I will leave it linked below if you want to take a look at it. So yay! Let me know in the comments if you have ever used any of the yarn I talked about today, or if you've ever knit any of the patterns that I've made today. Definitely let me know. I would love to see your thoughts on it. And I also wanted to talk about some upcoming videos that I have. So of course you all know that I knit and I crochet, but today we're talking about knitting. And so I have 2 upcoming knitting videos, and I'm not sure the order that they'll be in yet, but I am going to be doing my 2024 winter knitting plans. And so I do have a few things, and so that'll be covering kind of what I'm making between December and February. Here in North Carolina, like it's just now really getting cold. So we have really late summers here, or late falls. Our seasons are never like on time. And so it's the first part of December and it's really just now getting cold. Like we just now had a freeze. So, I hadn't really been thinking about winter garments a whole lot, but now I am. So I will be sharing that with you all very soon. And also, I am going to be coming out with my Everything I Knit in 2024 video. And I'm thinking I'm going to save that for maybe like the first part of January, because I do have some patterns that I'm trying to finish up. I wanted to give a big thank you to all those who have gone on my Ravelry wish list and bought me a pattern. It's so fun receiving those. Thank you so much. If you were interested in looking at my Ravelry wish list to buy a pattern for me, I will leave that link below. But as I always say, you all just watching, supporting, watching to the end is like that support. Like that just you all being here and watching and showing up, it's just support in itself. And thank you. I really appreciate it. I am trying to reach 10,000 subscribers on this channel. Right now, I'm about, I don't even know, 9,400 maybe? I'm not even sure. There's only like maybe a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks left in December. So I don't think I'll reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But y'all, it is my goal to reach 10,000 subscribers on this channel. And yes, so if you are watching and you enjoy my videos, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Let's see, this year marked 9 years of me being on YouTube, because I started August 2015. And yeah, so this August made 9 years, and moving forward to 10 years. And it would just be so incredible for me to reach 10,000 subscribers. Like, that would be amazing. So anyway, if you all could help me out with that, share my videos, whatever, subscribe if you haven't. I would really appreciate it. Let me know what you worked on while watching, or did you just chill? Because I love reading you all's comments. I really, really do. And also, thank you for clicking that like button and that notification bell so you know when I'm posting something new. And also check out my YouTube community tab. I ask a lot of fun questions there, and I love interacting with you all in the community tab. And if you would like to have an exclusive bonus video each month, click the join button below and check that out. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, bye!